His Three Daughters is a drama written and directed by Azazel Jacobs. The film stars Carrie Coon, Natasha Lyonne, and Elizabeth Olsen as three estranged sisters who come back together to care for their ailing father during his final days in a cramped New York City apartment. This review will be spoiler-free. After premiering at the Toronto International Film Festival on September 9th, 2023, the film was finally released to Netflix almost an entire year later. I have been very interested in seeing this film after hearing praise for the performances. I'm a big fan of these actresses and they do not disappoint here. The film takes place almost entirely inside the apartment. The chamber piece is one of my favourite styles of film, because you need a really strong screenplay to pull it off, as it relies on depth of character and dialogue. The dialogue in this film is well written, and certainly insightful, but it doesn't always feel like the kinds of things people would actually say. It is very bare bones, and even though it holds meaning, it is often lacking in subtlety. It all works because of the performances. Coon, Lyonne, and Olsen are giving it their all here, and they are blessed with very authentic and well-rounded characters. Carrie Coon's Katie is the logical manager of situations. She takes control by cooking dinners, writing her father's obituary, making phone calls, and trying to get paperwork done. She has formed a bit of an alliance with Christina, causing a divide between the three sisters. She hardly ever bites her tongue and doesn't like to concede. Elizabeth Olsen's Christina is the empath. She has a healthy family life, she loves her daughter and talks of her often. She doesn't complain about things because she values the open and smooth communication between loved ones. She is also a bit airy-fairy due to her drug-filled youth where she was a deadhead. If you don't know what that means, that's the name given to people that were major fans of the band Grateful Dead back in the day. All of this leads her to suppressing her emotions and becoming subservient to Katie without really realizing it. All because she wants to keep the peace and prioritize what is most important. Natasha Lyonne's Rachel lives in the apartment with her father, so she spends the most time with him. Katie sees Rachel as directionless in life, someone who wastes her money on marijuana and betting on sports to make money. However, Rachel is a much more caring person than Katie or Christina give her credit for. They do not truly see her because her communication skills aren't as clear. She is depressive. However, she is the one that lives with the father after all. She doesn't have a life to go back to like the others do. I could see a bit of myself in all three of these characters, and I can see them being extremely relatable for many who watch the film. The film has a beautiful filmic look. It has grain with beautiful lighting and a warm, golden glow that permeates the apartment. The colours really pop. Natasha Lyonne's orange hair, the occasional presence of teal on shirts and jackets. Most of these colours come from Lyonne's Rachel, as she is represented as a more colourful character than her sisters, who mostly dress in black. Olsen's Christina becomes the connector for Rachel and Katie, which is symbolised by her donning her old teal Grateful Dead shirt halfway through the film. The first 30 minutes of this film were very interesting. Oftentimes, I will find it hard to settle in when starting a movie on streaming, but I was immediately captured by the first act. It seemed to promise a cathartic and heavy-hearted experience, however the film fizzles out in my opinion. I started to check out around Act 3. You could argue that the film was a more genuine depiction of what this short span of time would be like, in that a lot of it is going to be downbeat and lacking in big melodramatic Hollywood moments. The ending would likely challenge that argument though, as there is a long scene that provides resolve for the characters that I found to be so incredibly sappy and even out of character for this film. We don't need to wrap up all of the emotional threads at the end of the movie, we just have to indicate that they will be wrapped up going forward after the film finishes. I wasn't connecting with this film nearly as much as I wanted to because I don't think it delved deep enough into the truly challenging aspects of what these characters were going through. It simply touched on them. It talks of death, it talks of disconnect between siblings, but you never quite feel the emotion. During Act 2, I was being taken in and out of the film as I really wanted more from it, but it just bubbled and bubbled. It never reached its potential. I wanted to connect with it more than I did. Overall, the film lost steam for me in its second half. I loved the idea behind the film, but the screenplay didn't really hold the depth that it needed to. I still found the three main characters to be incredibly well realized, not only in the performances, but in how they were conceived on the page. They felt like real people, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of this came from the director's real experiences. The dynamics between the characters felt interesting, and they felt like they'd lived eventful lives independent of one another, which makes it hard for them to connect in spite of their obvious love for one another. The film is fairly solid. I didn't like the ending as I felt it was sappy, but I could see most people enjoying this film due to the nice visuals and great performances. If you have gone through something similar to this or have siblings, then you will likely find something to relate to. Just don't expect a deep catharsis. For a Netflix at-home watch, you can't really complain with this one because it is better than most of the films that get released straight to their platform.